Hi friends, I have a really exciting announcement to make, but before I get to it, I kind of want to give a little bit of a backstory. So, if you've been watching my vlogs, you know that I'm a huge fan of everything Disney. One of my biggest passions in life is dance. So the dream job for me is to combine the two, dance for the Walt Disney Company. So when I got my acceptance into the Disney College program, I was over the moon. I knew I was one step closer to pursuing my dreams, and I get the chance to start my career with Disney and get my foot in the door. So I was, like I said, I was so extremely excited. When I got down here, I started networking, starting asking around what I needed to do to pursue this. And I found out that I would have to leave the company for 6 months, which was heartbreaking news. I'd worked so hard to finally get in and waited so long that I didn't want to leave, but I had to think what was going to be best for me, because at the time, extensions were coming out if you wanted to apply for one. So I weighed the pros and cons and realized the best time for me would be when my program ended, because then I could make my clean break, leave on good terms, get some side job, be able to know that I can attend my wedding and honeymoon, come back, and then start applying and auditioning again, because it would be 6 months. That was the most realistic option for me. And so I did not apply for an extension. My program continued, and people were asking me, why didn't you apply for an extension? So I had to give them the whole story. And they're like, we never heard of that before. That seems a little ridiculous. But like, no, but that's what I was told. So that's what I stood by. However, around December 5th, I finally decided to go into casting and ask them. I was like, what? Is this a real thing? What do I need to do? Can I apply to be full-time, part-time now and decide later? And they're like, well, your best option is to go to an actual audition. Luckily, one was coming up in a few weeks, so I went to one. I asked the entertainment people there because they should know, and they gave me the wonderful news that you do not have to leave the company, which I was so thrilled. I wanted to hug the guy, and I did not care if the audition was terrible because I got the best news ever. I did not have to leave the amazing company that I was so excited. So I instantly went over to casting and applied for full-time, part-time, and I was like, okay, great, piece of cake. However, I did not get an offer because character attendant is a huge wait list, which should have known that. I probably should have pursued it a little earlier, but again, I was going off of what I was told, and I was not offered a character attendant position. So on January 5th, when my program ended, I officially left the company. But I was not going to let that stop me. So on January 7th, I reapplied for the company. I was offered a web-based interview as well as an in-person interview. However, word of warning, if you have the same thing kind of happen to you where you end your program and decide you want to reapply, just be cautioned to the fact that you may not have been separated from the company yet, because that happened to me. I went in for my interview and they said, we cannot actually interview you because you're still technically hired. So just be aware. Things may happen. One of the biggest reasons for this whole rant is just to say, be flexible. Things are going to get thrown at you. Roadblocks are going to happen, but your biggest task is to learn how to get around them and be persistent at pursuing your dreams. So, anyway, trying to make this long story short, I sooner or later got the opportunity to get put on some waitlists, and here's where it gets good. You know that day I went to studios with Shannon and then went over to Magic Kingdom? Well, a little bit of magic followed me home that day, and I finally got an email saying that a position had opened up for me and I needed to set up a phone interview. And yesterday, I had that phone interview, well, more like appointment, which was them offering me a role. So, my exciting news is that I am finally back after a month of being away from the company. I will officially be a Walt Disney cast member again. This time, I will be working at Magic Kingdom in Frontierland as an attraction hostess. I'm so excited. While Disney's Hollywood Studios will always be my home, and I will cherish the wonderful opportunity I had as a character attendant, I am thrilled to have this new experience, learn something new, challenge myself, get to be at a different park. I'm just happy to be back. So there it is. I am so, what's another word for excited? Elated. I'm so elated that I get to make magic again. So again, moral of the whole rant, besides finally telling you what I'm doing with my life, if you have a dream, don't be afraid to pursue it. Walt Disney himself was told no so many times in his life, but he was very persistent and determined and did not stop believing in himself. And he was able to leave an amazing legacy. If he can do that, you can surely do whatever you want to do with your life. So, don't stop chasing your dreams. I sure ain't. Look at me, I'm a cast member again. And I'm going to continue auditioning and hopefully get closer and closer to that dream job of mine. And so can you. Again, don't stop believing. Journey, yes. Anyway, I'm going to wrap this up because I'm so excited now. I will see ya real soon.